Jim Ostrowski. I knew your weekends wouldn't be complete without seeing me with my shaky camera on the bike path. So I'm a pretty good mind reader, so I'm giving you what you need. Um, Hope everybody's enjoying the weekend. I just fixed a little porch work up, got the Betsy Ross flag up. So let's not forget the uh, men who died at Lexington and Concord. We often forget them, and we also forget what they fought for. I like the Betsy Ross flag. It's like it's controversial now. A lot of ignoramuses say it means this, that, or the other thing. The Betsy Ross flag is has a very specific meaning. Very specific meaning. And there really can't be any doubt about it unless you're just making it up. The Betsy Ross flag stands for the American Revolution. Stands for the principles of the American Revolution. Well, what are those? Well, the greatest lawyer and writer of that time, Thomas Jefferson, wrote it out. I know it was a committee. He wrote the basic doctrine. It's in the Declaration of Independence. That I'm not going to repeat it. I probably could repeat it more or less word for word. But basically, that we have the right to life, liberty, and property. And whenever these slimy politicians, governments, states, whatever you want to call them, kingdoms, politicians, whenever they violate that right, the people have a right to get together and just replace that government. And as happened in 1776, they didn't want to go. The government didn't want to give up that power, so it came down to Lexington and Concord. That's why we need the right to bear arms, by the way, because if you don't have the right to bear arms, you won't have the people won't have the power to reassume their sovereignty. And by the way, in the Constitutional Conventions, New York and Virginia, the two biggest, most important states, explicitly stated if things get out of control, we're going to reassume our power over the federal government. So, as usual, most of the historians and politicians and lawyers, judges, bought and paid for, they have it wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. If you read my stuff, you'll know what you're talking about. But I didn't really mean to go on that digression, but here I am. So, the main reason uh, I'm doing this podcast on the bike path is I'm getting back on the lecture circuit. I've been gone for a long time. I was in it in the 90s, and it's time to get back. So I put together a little blurb, which I'll put out on Facebook. So it's a one pager. It basically just lists uh, the, the issues that I'm prepared to talk about, and lists the books that where I talk about those issues. So uh, thank you. So basically, I've been telling people, just going to be a couple minutes here. I tend to be rather long-winded, but I wasn't intending this to be long. So I hear some baseball going on up at the park. That's so awesome. It was so cruel to shut down baseball and softball these last 2 years. So I coached for 7 years. I didn't know what I was doing, but I coached. I'm much more of a basketball guy. So I've been telling people for the longest time, I think 22 years at least, but really longer. Government schools are bad for your kids. Government schools are bad for your kids. I think people thought like I was kidding or something. It's like, I think he's just trying to sell books. No, no, I don't do that. If I wanted to get rich, I would have stayed in the Democratic Party when I was 20. And like all these other people, the Clintons and everybody around the Clintons, I would have been a multimillionaire by now. So that's not my prime motivation. When I say government schools are bad for your kids, I think it's really important to have a book title that accurately describes what's in the book. And that's the title of the book, because that's the contents of the book. Call me old fashioned. Now, if people like that title and it got people to buy books, I'm not against making money. Believe me, I'm not. I could use a lot more money. mainly because if I had more money, I could execute all the 11 direct action projects that I have listed at libertymovement.org. But look, when I tell you, government schools are bad for your kids, take it to the bank. Take it to the bank. I analyzed it. I researched it. I watched it. I represent government school people in criminal court for 38 years. I know what the hell I'm talking about. So then, when I write a follow up saying that we need to free the children in the 23 red states controlled by that useless political party, the Republican Party, listen to me, folks. Seriously, listen to me. So, we know what happened in Texas at a government school. We know that Texas, mess with Texas. Guess what? I'm messing with Texas. Texas makes it a crime not to send your kids to a government school, and then they don't protect your kids. So we need people to get involved. Please, people. All I need is a few leads in these 23 red states. I'm going down to the Southeast in July. I can go up to New Hampshire, West Virginia, Ohio, or Indiana anytime. I can probably get to Tennessee. I know I can get to Tennessee in one day. What am I talking about? So let's say Tennessee on short notice. I got contacted by somebody from Tennessee. I'm going to set something up. I need people to get this movement going in the red states. I'll do everything I can, but you really have to carry the ball because people are going to say, we don't want some Yankee, even a copperhead Yankee. We don't want some Yankee down here telling us what to do. Well, I don't know. I mean, you don't have freedom. You have socialism in your schools. So I think maybe you do need a little impetus, but you guys got to do all the work. Get me down there to speak, have a debate. I'll debate anybody, Democrat, Republican. I'll run circles around them, frankly. That's what I do for a living. I debate for a living. We got to have people who know what they're doing on the front lines of the liberty movement. And you're looking at them. Sorry. There's no time for false modesty. That's bullshit. So I'm going to put this blurb out today. There's eight or nine topics on there that I'm ready to speak on. I have the book citations to show I've done the research on it. And I just need some leads in the red states or even locally on any of the other issues. But with the Free the Children movement, the Democrats are hopeless. They're never going to repeal these compulsory attendance laws. We got to get them repealed, folks, so we can avoid these tragedies in the future. So look for that on my Facebook page. I'll put it on Twitter as well. Thank you very much. Enjoy the Memorial Day, and remember 1776.